Coming up next on Making Moves, we'll tell you how the city of St. Augustine wants to help fight traffic congestion between St. Johns and Duval counties. Hurricane season is here. What you need to know should a storm head our way. And why these new college graduates grab their degrees and then flock to a JTA bus. I'm Joyce Morgan Danford. Those stories and much more next on Making Moves. Welcome to Making Moves, everyone. I'm Joyce Morgan Danford. Nat Ford is off today, but we have some special guests joining us in just a moment. But first, let's check our headlines. If you're in one of those 30,000 vehicles who face heavy congestion and traffic delays traveling between St. Johns County and Jacksonville each day, then you'll be happy to know that St. Augustine officials are keeping hope alive for a commuter train between the nation's oldest city and downtown Jacksonville. With a 4-to-1 vote, the St. Augustine City Commission approved a resolution that supported a proposed commuter train service route in St. Johns County. According to the St. Augustine Record, Commissioner Nancy Sykes-Klein said the vote was, quote, important to establish St. Augustine as a leader in what would surely be a long process to establish the train service, unquote. And joining us to talk more about this development is James Boyle. James is JTA's Regional Transportation Planner, and he's the person who's been working on bringing passenger rail to Northeast Florida. Welcome, Mr. Boyle. First of all, tell us, what impact does this resolution really have on bringing this service to our area?
Well, it's big. You know, to have a local municipality come out of the gate, the first one actually in the region to openly support the concept of commuter rail in our region is pretty big.
Oh, it's awesome. But take our viewers back. Just remind us about what happened in 2009 that was really important and happening in this area with commuter rail.
Sure. In 2009, we completed our commuter rail feasibility study. And really the feasibility study was just a very high-level overview of commuter rail in the region. It involves 7 counties, all the way down to Palm Coast and Flagler County, Palatka, Putnam County. We identified 7 corridors that had the potential to support commuter rail service. At the end of that study, we came out with 3 candidate corridors that we thought should move forward further into the planning process. And that's where we are today. So right now we're in the process of evaluating these 3 corridors further and trying to prioritize which corridor should proceed first for commuter service.
And the basic thing you just said is that there's still so much work ahead, but it can only happen with great partners, not just St. Augustine, not just Jacksonville, but you know, we have to have Florida East Coast Railway as well as the Florida Department of Transportation.
Exactly. Commuter rail is a big project. There's no doubt about it. You know, this is what we call the next generation of transportation for our region. So you've got to have the partners, you got to have the counties, you got to have the cities, you got to have the state, and most importantly, you got to have the railroad carriers. And we have been discussing this project with them. They're very much aware of it. But without their support, there is no commuter rail because, remember, we're operating in their right-of-way.
Absolutely.
So that's the big thing to remember about this project.
Another thing that I just thought about, what about the passengers, the actual people who will be riding them? What kind of buy-in do we have to have from the public?
It's big. I mean, commuter rail is, you know, it's a big transportation project. There's a lot of money, you know, that has to be involved, and so you have to have the support of the public as well. And as we continue to move through this planning process, we will be going out and holding community meetings and public meetings, trying to get that public buy-in, because without the public, there is no commuter rail, so it is important.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It's an exciting time for us. There's still much more work ahead, and I'm sure you'll be right in the thick of all of it.
I will.
Thanks again.
Thanks.
The Florida Legislature has cleared the way for Northeast Florida to develop a regional transportation commission that will help it better compete for state and federal transportation dollars. After nearly 3 years of development, Senate Bill 606 passed through both the House and the Senate with a unanimous vote to create the Northeast Florida Regional Transportation Commission. The bill was sponsored by Senator Audrey Gibson of Jacksonville and Representative Travis Cummings of Orange Park. 6 counties make up the commission. Baker, Clay, Duval, Flagler, Nassau, Putnam, and St. John's have all signed on. According to Senator Gibson, the work of this commission will be vital to our transportation future. She said, infrastructure is crucial to the quality of life in our community, and transportation projects create very high-paying jobs, so it's good for the economic development of our state.
One of the things that you'll see, especially in the federal programs, is a preference to have a regional approach to requests for funding, because they don't like to see 20 projects from one area and then have to choose the winners and losers. What they want to know is, what are your regional priorities, so they don't have to make that choice. And so when they see a place like Northeast Florida come forward and say, this is our project, this is what we want, then it's more competitive.
In other news, thousands of local residents ride JTA every day. They ride the bus, the trolley, the community and stadium shuttles, and the Skyway. By year's end, trips taken on JTA total some 13 million. So it's no wonder that one day every year, the authority takes a moment to say a special thank you to its loyal customers on Rider Appreciation Day. This year, JTA staff handed out bottles of ice-cold water and some special gifts.
And I got to say that most of the time, these guys and ladies that's driving these buses, they're on time and polite, and the Customer Appreciation Day is wonderful, I think. So.
Locally, Rider Appreciation Day is held every year in conjunction with National Transportation Week. June ushered in hurricane season, so we can expect the tropics to start heating up. A year ago, the Atlantic hurricane season was incredibly active with a total of 19 named storms. It was only the 7th hurricane season in the last 162 years that had so many named storms. Well, forecasters are predicting 8 to 10 hurricanes will form in the Atlantic this season. 3 to 5 of those major hurricanes. That means wind speeds in excess of 111 miles per hour. If one of those storms takes aim at the first coast, will you know what to do? Well, here's Making Moves' Bill Milnes to help you prepare.
Hurricane season is once again upon us. The good news for Jacksonville is that we've rarely been brutalized by a major storm. The bad news, that good fortune has left many of us complacent, and that leaves us vulnerable should disaster strike.
I would say it is a case of whether it's possibility or probability. And the probabilities are at some point in time a major hurricane will impact Florida or the Jacksonville area, no different than Hurricane Dora did in 1964. So at some point in time we will see the impact of a major hurricane.
One thing is for certain, it is never too early to begin preparation. Everyone should have a hurricane survival kit packed and ready to go. Here's a list of what your survival kit should contain. Water for 3 to 5 days. You'll need 1 gallon per person per day. Non-perishable food. Manual can opener. First aid kit. Prescription and non-prescription medicines. Toiletries. Cell phones and battery-powered cell phone chargers. Plenty of spare batteries. Extra cash. Diapers and other baby supplies. Blankets and sleeping bags. Books, magazines, and games. But preparing your survival kit is only step 1 to ensuring you're ready to face a potential disaster. If you plan to ride out the storm at home, then before the storm arrives, make sure you have supplies like flashlights and a battery-powered radio. Bring outside items indoors and monitor weather alerts. During the storm, make sure you turn off all your electrical appliances and stay in an interior room away from any windows.
Go on and turn off the whole house as far as water and electric. That way when you come home, you won't come home to a flooded house, or if you had left appliances on, there won't be a fire while you're gone.
Once the storm passes, stay away from downed power lines. Check your home for electrical damage, such as frayed wiring. If your meter is damaged, have it inspected by a professional electrician before turning your power back on. If a storm is imminent and an evacuation is ordered, heed this warning from our president.
Please listen to what your state and local officials are saying. When they tell you to evacuate, you need to evacuate. Do not delay, don't pause, don't question the instructions that are being given.
If an evacuation is ordered by local or state emergency management officials, the Florida Highway Patrol then jumps into action to ensure everyone gets away safely.
We can one-way direction Interstate I-10, goes out towards I-75, and once that plan comes in place, which is designed by implemented by the governor himself, it'll take us the short period of time to establish that and then monitor that properly.
If your plan is to ride out the storm at a local shelter, know that each local county has its own set of procedures. It is best not to wait until the storm is on the way to know where to go and what you can bring with you. In Jacksonville, there are 19 designated shelters, including 3 that will accept pets. If you live in Duval County and need transportation to a shelter, JTA can help. In emergency situations, all JTA bus stops are designated pickup points. JTA buses will pick you up and you will be taken to a local shelter. But Red Cross officials warn that shelter life is no picnic. You need to be prepared.
Well, sheltering is a very unique concept because people think of shelters like hotels, and they're not really hotels. What shelters are they're designed as a last resort. So when people come to a Red Cross shelter, they really want to expect just the bare minimum. The idea is it's considered a safe place for them and their family to come to. It's some place that takes them out of the elements and makes sure that they're going to have that provided safety. But it's also about basic first aid as well as those basic meals. But beyond that, that's really it. So there's no hotel, there's nothing luxurious about it, but it is considered safe.
Obviously, there is no way to cover everything you need to know about what to do in these emergency situations. But there are plenty of resources for you. Start with your county's website. It can tell you specifics about their particular requirements for shelters, evacuation routes and procedures, and more. In Jacksonville, Bill Milnes, JTA Making Moves.
Well, joining us now to talk more about how JTA prepares for hurricanes and other emergency situations is the Vice President of Compliance and Risk Management, Michael Sloan. Mr. Sloan, of course, welcome to Jacksonville once again. I know I welcomed you earlier, but welcome again. And welcome to Making Moves. This is your first time actually here on our set with us.
Absolutely.
Well, we're excited. Over the past few months, we've really been talking a lot about the new JTA leadership team, and you're part of that leadership team. But one of the things you guys had to do was you had to jump right in, and hurricane season is basically on top of us. So what is JTA doing to prepare? What are you doing to prepare us for this and any other emergency, by the way?
For the last week, we've been participating in a statewide exercise to prepare us for the upcoming hurricane season. We've been attending meetings with leadership representatives from various agencies in the city at the Emergency Operations Center in downtown Jacksonville. It's been a fascinating process, and by that preparation, we feel like we're going to be prepared for options that we probably haven't even thought of yet. But
yeah, absolutely. And because we are JTA, because we are transit, that means our main focus is going to be on evacuation. So what's been going on and the talk about that?
We are the principal agent in moving people with special needs to safe locations, and this particular scenario involves 2 hurricanes hitting the state at the same time and the repercussions. And so the main focal point for us has been to move people to high ground where there's no flooding, and dealing with the influx of traffic from the southern part of the state, and then the eventual evacuation of our own folks from from potential flood areas. So it's a fascinating scenario and one that we feel will certainly prepare us.
And as you said, the responsibility is evacuation of people, but also of the folks at the agency. I mean, those are certainly, with you being risk management, I mean, right. You're also looking at the people at the agency.
We are concerned with the safety of our own employees. That's why we try to work in as much advance as we can. We will move the public, and then we will make sure that our own human assets as well as physical assets are safe.
And you know, when we talk about those physical assets, we're talking about buses. So you have to evacuate before the storm, but you have to protect those buses and have them ready to move after the storm.
Well, that is part of the process, is what you do after the storm has passed. We have located 3 locations to put our buses in while we sort of stand down when it's not safe to operate at all. And all of those locations, according to the latest mapping, are in dry areas. So.
And you know, this is a new thing for you. I mean, you come from the Atlanta area, and your focus hasn't been on hurricanes. So this hurricane season is kind of interesting to you, I'm sure.
It is, but I grew up in the South Florida area, and so did, in fact, live through Hurricane Donna, I believe it was. It's been a long time, but it's not the first time.
Okay, so you are ready, and JTA is ready to go. Mr. Michael Sloan, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it, and we know that we'll be looking forward to what JTA is doing, not only during the month of June, but you know, all through hurricane season.
Thank you so much.
Well, up next on Making Moves, we'll hear from 3 more members of Nat Ford's new executive leadership team and find out how they plan to turn JTA into the best transportation agency in the nation. Then later, it's little kids and big trucks. Don't go away.
Finding a job is great. Finding a career, even better. The JTA is currently hiring part-time bus operators. These jobs offer a great opportunity for full-time advancement. If you're at least 23 years old, have a high school diploma or equivalency, a commercial driver's license, and a clean driving record, then we want to hear from you. All qualified candidates receive additional paid training. To start on your path to future success with the JTA, visit us online at jtafla.com and learn more about this and all our open positions.
Imagine taking a gondola ride through the canals in Venice, experiencing the breathtaking magnificence of the Eiffel Tower, or riding a legendary double-decker bus through the streets of London. For most of us, these are just dreams that will never come true, but they could. Think about saving hundreds, even thousands of dollars a year by doing one simple thing: parking your car and taking JTA instead. Save money, ride JTA, and make your dreams a reality.
Finally, we had a weekend away, and we couldn't wait to see what Jacksonville had in store. We jumped into a cab and cruised downtown. They had a huge jazz fest, and everyone was dancing in the streets. We went to this Riverside Arts Market. There were all these farmers with local fruits and vegetables, and just amazing. We had a private wine tasting, and then we were off to this beer fest, where the locals just took us in and made us feel like one of them. Skyway was a pretty cool way to see the city. We escaped on a water taxi with views that were just spectacular. Then we plunged back into the city for the game of a lifetime. Thing is, we didn't get away from anything. We got away to everything. Have your biggest weekend ever. Visit Jacksonville.
That was awesome.
Welcome back, everyone. JTA's newest leaders are making big strides in a short amount of time. Under the direction of CEO Nat Ford, this new executive leadership team is looking to build on the legacy of JTA while moving toward the future. Well, today we find out more about this diverse team from Chief of Staff Bill Mosley, Vice President of Transit Operations, Lisa Darnall, and Vice President of Finance and Administration, CFO, Henry Lee. With the entire executive leadership team assembled, JTA is moving full speed ahead. The transition and adjustment period has been condensed to meet the daily demands of the agency. The new position of Chief of Staff is held by William Mosley, a man who is not new to CEO Nat Ford. As board chair at MARTA in Atlanta, he was basically Nat Ford's boss. Now, Ford is his boss.
That means a lot of different things, and that depends from day to day. I'm tasked with agency-wide initiatives, ERP, certain technology initiatives, and a variety of other things that go across certain areas of the authority. It's the clean up, fix up, do it now, and help the CEO's office get done what needs to be done for the authority.
William Mosley is an attorney by trade. Mosley's strength includes his long tenure with MARTA, but he says transportation is a way of life for his family. Mosley says he's optimistic and excited about JTA's role in North Florida's transportation future.
We move people. We move them through transit, we move them on roads, we move them across bridges. I mean, there is huge opportunity with transportation to create vitality in a community. People have to be able to move around. Of course, transit also does a lot of other things as well. We can spur development, we can spur density, and all those things, if done right, can help a city grow.
Leading the transit side of the business is veteran transportation official Lisa Darnall. Darnall comes immediately from Lynx in Orlando, but her roots are right here in Jacksonville. In fact, she graduated from Forest High School. Yes, she is home, but doesn't take lightly her mission to serve the North Florida region. Her goal is to take a great organization to one of the top mobility agencies in the nation.
I would like for JTA to be recognized as one of the premier transit properties in the state of Florida. JTA is a part of the American Public Transit Association organization, and every year they recognize transit properties for being the best in the country. And that's what I would like for JTA to be recognized for.
After 30 years in the transportation industry, Darnall says it's in her blood, but admits it takes a team like the one assembled by Nat Ford.
I think we've really just begun under his leadership. I think that there are so many opportunities here in Jacksonville for services that we can offer that we don't today. Although certainly JTA is known for the day-to-day service we provide for people who may not have any other transportation option. I think it's all about options for people who live here. Certainly the paratransit is specialized services for people with disabilities who are not able to ride the fixed route services or the Skyway or the community shuttle. And the community shuttle also serves another market. So I think it's really all about transportation choices for people.
Darnall is looking at everything involved with transit, from technology to the bus operators.
I think certainly safety is our #1 concern, but it's also all about customer service. I've always said to a new bus operator, driving the bus is the easy part. It's really that customer service focus and that safety focus. I have a CDL myself and I can drive a bus, but I know the real important feature is being safe and providing that customer service.
Every successful organization has sound fiscal policies. Henry Lee is the Vice President of Finance and Administration. Serving as the Chief Financial Officer, he's looking at sustaining the agency while generating new streams of revenue.
If you have dedicated funding, you will feel much more comfortable to develop a long-term, viable, sustainable financial strategies to ensure the future success of the agency.
Lee says the new leadership team is evaluating surplus JTA properties and looking to increase its advertising opportunities as alternative ways to generate additional revenue to the agency.
Also, we could sell more advertising on our buses or even electronic billboards along the rights of way, or even sell naming rights for transit stations or bus stops.
Lee held the same position at Hampton Roads Transit, but says the move to Jacksonville was an easy choice. He says he and his family quickly grew to love our city. And professionally, JTA offered him one thing he couldn't get anywhere else, the opportunity to work with CEO Nat Ford.
He is a nationally recognized top leader in the transportation industry.
And that sentiment has been echoed by each member of the new leadership team.
Every single one of us very much likes and appreciates transportation and what it can do for a community. And I think that we very much like what we've seen about Jacksonville as far as the relationship between all parties in Jacksonville in recognizing how important that transportation is.
College graduation is such a special occasion. It's a time to celebrate all the hard work it took to finally hold that degree in your hands. So it's only natural that the first thing you would want to do after your college graduation ceremony is go have your picture taken in front of a JTA bus. Well, that's exactly what many of the recent graduates from Florida State College at Jacksonville did. The college contracted with JTA to have one of its 40-foot buses wrapped with all the names of its graduates. And as you can imagine, the bus was quite the hit.
This is new for me. I never seen nothing like that before, and this is real nice, excited that we found it.
Awesome, yay! You worked hard for it.
It's awesome.
It's awesome?
Yeah, I want to ride it.
Oh, it is. It's nice to have my name on there again, so worked hard for it, so it's good.
And that special bus will be in circulation for the next several months. Well, time now for the last word. Trucks. Every year, the San Pablo Elementary School in Neptune Beach puts on its own version of a monster truck rally for its students. Trucks of all sizes and shapes and from a variety of local agencies like the Jacksonville Fire and Rescue, Jacksonville Beach Ocean Rescue, and of course, one of our own JTA trolleys line the school's driveway for the exhibit. Veteran JTA operator and trainer E.J. Wilson gave dozens of students a quick lesson on all things trolley related, including how to pay using the fare box, how to use the bus's bike rack, and the onboard cameras, and much more. Truck Day is an annual event, and those kids sure do love EJ. And I think, you know what, it's really mutual. He's so great with kids. He always has a great time when he's teaching the kids about the trolleys. And that, of course, wraps up this edition of Making Moves. We'd like to thank Mike Sloan and James Boyle for joining us in our studio today. And thank you so much at home for tuning in as well. Remember, if you missed any part of the show or just want to watch it again, complete episodes of Making Moves are always available online at jtafla.com and on our YouTube channel, JTA 904. You can also find exclusive web-only content on our Facebook page, so be sure to check it out at facebook.com/JTA Making Moves. So for the entire Making Moves team, I'm Joyce Morgan Danford. We'll see you the next time we're making moves.